Let's now determine the mode, median, and standard deviation of this data set. So these numbers represent the maximum daily temperature in degrees Celsius recorded over 10 days. So first, let's determine mode. Mode is basically the number which comes in quite frequently. That is the number which appears the maximum number of times. So we can observe this data and we see that this 14 comes in three times. This 15 appears two times. So therefore, we consider this mode of the data is 14 because this appears three times when compared to the other numbers. Therefore, we write down the mode of this data is 14. We now determine median of this data. Remember that median is written as x bar, and this equals the sum of the data over the number of data, that is n. So we basically have to add all these numbers, that is 14 plus 15 plus 14 plus 11 so on till 13. Over n is the number of data set, which is there are about 10 numbers. So let's find this sum, which equals 131 over 10. So this gives 13.1. So therefore, we write down median of this data set is 13.1. We now determine the standard deviation of this data set. So we write down the standard deviation formula. This equals under the root of sum of x minus x bar, where x bar is the median of the data quantity square over n minus 1. So we utilize this formula to find the standard deviation of this data. We know that x bar, which is the median of the data, equals 13.1, where x represents the each of the data. So let's substitute this. So we can write down this as standard deviation equals, we put a square root. We have to find the sum of the difference of this each data set with the median. So we can write down this as 14 minus of 13.1 quantity square, plus we take the second number, which is 15 minus of 13.1 quantity square, and likewise we complete for the rest of the numbers. So here I have completed writing the sum of the squares. So it comes like this, and in the next step we find this difference and square it up. So 14 minus 13.1 is negative 4.1 quantity square, and we square this, this will become a positive number. And similarly, 15 minus of 13.1 is which is 1.9 quantity square. This 14 minus 13.1, this is actually zero point 0.9 quantity square. So likewise, we can fill the rest of the values. So therefore, we will have like this. Notice that the denominator is 9 because 10 minus 1 is 9. Now we can plug this into the calculator and find the sum of the squares, divide by 9, and then finally we take the square root. And when you do that, we get the standard deviation approximately equal to 2.331. So this is the standard deviation of the given data set.